Hello, and welcome back to the Authentic Creative, expanding your capacity to feel good. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is where vulnerability, joy, and growth shape our journey here. So, I have learned that feeling good is a commitment to embrace all parts of myself, the dreams that inspire me and the fears that challenge me. And through connection, and sharing my truth, I have found that the power of authenticity is always the best power, right? So join me here as we explore what it means to live fully, to create intentionally, and to celebrate our emotions. So together, we're going to discover the joy in the journey and the freedom of being ourselves. And who better than to talk about all of these kinds of things than Jodi Kahn, my beautiful, gorgeous new friend. She is a breakthrough coach. She's here. She is a breakthrough coach, breakthrough, and healer with over a decade of health transformation coaching experience. Her mission is to empower individuals to live their healthiest, happiest, most fulfilling lives through a multimodal approach that combines social work, wellness coaching, inner child work, and trauma-informed somatic coaching. So Jodi helps clients uncover their inner wisdom, release limiting beliefs, and heal emotional wounds, all while providing practical tools and strategies. Known for her calm and relatable presence, she creates, yes, and I can attest to that, a safe space for healing. With a BS in psychology from Brandeis University and a master's in social work from Columbia University, Jodi offers individual and group coaching workshops and inspirational speaking. Outside of her professional life, she's a loving wife, a conscious parent, a proud bubby, and lifelong learner dedicated to living a joyful and balanced life. You can go find her on Facebook, facebook.com/jodi.kahn.5. We're going to put it in the show notes, or on Instagram at jodikahn_health. Okay, guys, it's so exciting because Jodi and I had the best time in Marina del Rey on the beach, meditating, dancing, walking in the sunshine along where the boats were, and just having the most deep, transformative, wonderful conversation as if we've been soulmates forever. And I said to her, I feel like you're my aunt. Like, we just have this beautiful soul connection. And so I'm so excited to bring her to you guys because you want to be in relationship with her too, trust me. So how are you doing today, Jodi?
Well, first of all, Siri, to be here with you and to reconnect and for you to bring me back to that moment, those moments on the beach dancing, as well as speaking with Kathy and you feeling this vibe of being an aunt. I've retold that to so many people and it just feels so alive in me. I really feel that. So thank you for connecting with me and bringing me on your show today. I'm super excited to be here.
Oh, you're so welcome. You're making me think of that song. I can see clearly now the rain is gone. Oh my God, it was the best. We were dancing in the water. It was so good. This was a retreat, it's not like an everyday thing but hey, why not? Like, why shouldn't it be an everyday? I'm trying to find more and more of these moments where we feel like that, where we tap into that kind of elevated state and freedom and flow.
Mm.
So, like, let's just maybe start there. And then also, I want to, learn all about you. But, like, just with that notion, with that moment, and hold on. So yeah, that flow state that we were in, I'm just curious like how you're invoking that in your daily life right now in these precious moments we're in.
So I so love the question. So two things I want to say. First of
Yeah.
all is thank you for bringing me back to that memory because as you started to sing the song, what came back to me was m- my memory of the music changing during that meditation, getting into dancing, and I felt like getting up and I started dancing.
Yeah,
And
you were
as
the
it
first
turns out,
one.
that, that, which I have to tell you, I'm not typically the first one. And so when others were asking me, like, wow, I wish I could do that, I was like, you know what? I haven't really done that before. I was feeling it and I allowed myself to just go with it, particularly amongst the like minded, incredible women that were there and the energy that was there. I really just felt safe, felt that desire, if you will,
Yeah.
that little ping. Okay,
Mhm.
get up. I looked around first. No one was getting up. I knew someone had to be the first. So why not me? And that was
Yes.
really a moment that to remember and a moment that I carry with me. So thank you for reminding me of that. And it's funny because it comes into my life now. I celebrated a big birthday this year. And in the
Okay.
turn of this decade,
Yeah.
I what keeps coming to me is it's never too late and you're never too old
Yes,
because I
that's
am
such a good
actually older than I
reminder.
look. And
You're
yet,
very youthful.
I so appreciate that. And my dad, who's 86 now, he says attitude is everything and
Right.
it's just a number. And I feel that in my soul, while at the same time, we can, years count, experience. We accumulate experience in that time. So there's a level now that I'm kind of feeling like more, I don't know, freedom, more wisdom to be and to really now open up and just follow through it, be able to really release the things I've worked on, release stuff I've still carried or uncovered, and be able to be more and have more joy and spread more joy and live bigger.
Wow. That's so inspiring and it's so encouraging. And I love your attitude. And I love that this is something I can look forward to in a few years. Like, thank you, Jodi, because sometimes it's really hard to keep that perspective. When your body doesn't feel good, when you have aches and pains, when you get up in the morning and you're feeling slow, like it can be really challenging to feel that youthful spirit and that hope and that freedom and that expansion that you just described.
Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure. And so if I bring it to the second thing that I wanted to say, so like, how does that manifest for me? How do I live that? Because you're
Yeah.
right. There are some days, the aches, the pains, the stiffness. Um, I was talking with my husband this morning. It's like, so I acknowledge it. And now
Yeah.
what do I do about it? It always
Yeah.
moves into a what do I do about it?
Yeah.
And I start with, being grateful for the day. I start with gratitudes. I have prayer in my life. I have meditation in my life. I have what gives me joy in my life and what I want to look forward to. And so it's what gets me moving. I apply what I've learned, along the way. So, okay, I know that as I get moving, okay, but things shift. The numbness is going to go away. Or, oh, wow, that massage yesterday really made a difference. I'm feeling so much more free, or
Yes.
it's a beautiful day today, to be honest. Excited and a little bit nervous about our conversation today. More excited. And so I
Yeah.
took myself outside for a
Love it.
beautiful walk, which
Love
is one
it.
of my comfort zones. I used to, walk a lot and do lives, Facebook lives while walking. I think when I walk. Some people, it's the shower. To me, it's when I walk. So I kind of connected me, the eternal me, the same me, along with the evolving me.
I love that you said the eternal you, the same you, because today I facilitated breathwork this morning and I wrote a poem and I just want to read it to you. It's very quick. It says, treasure is our return to our eternal, infinite, gorgeous, magical self, your humanness, your vulnerability. Your softness is also your power, your dreams placed in you for all of time. Dreaming of a brighter day places fresh hope in our hearts, fresh knowing in our collective souls, timeless, eternal you.
Mm. Mm.
Oh my gosh, Jodi, where did you grow up? Tell me something about your childhood.
Mm. So I was born in Queens, New York, and from age 2 was raised on Long Island in a small town called North Belmore. Um, Intact family, if you will, a very traditional family. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. My dad worked. At the same time, he coached the baseball teams and made Sunday morning breakfast and drove carpools, but
Oh,
also big work. And my mom was a stay-at-home mom. So I grew up with very traditional roles,
yeah.
really feeling very loved and supported.
Wow.
Um, was always a good student. What I'll say is at 15 and a half, my folks got divorced. Things changed a lot.
Okay. Okay, 15 and a half. Big, big
Yeah,
moment. Got it.
big moments. Yeah.
Yes.
At my sweet 16, they were there together, separate. And that separateness continued through my mom's passing just 2 years ago. They needed separateness.
Yeah.
So I grew up as that daughter of divorce, very sensitive, aware, and attuned to being respectful for each of their needs and wanting to love, honor, and cherish them as my parents.
Mm-hmm.
So that did a lot for who I was, impacting on me. At the same
Yeah.
time, I always had an inner driver to become more and do more. I always wanted to help people. I always volunteered. I brought youth groups to nursing homes and volunteered for Special Olympics. I was always a person of service, so it's
Was
no
that
surprise.
because of your parents that that service was in you, or just naturally, organically, you just felt that call?
So yes and yes.
Okay.
My dad is a person of service. My mom was too. In those years, my dad always, from Boy Scout to retired only last year from the Office of Emergency Management while working, always was a person of service. So I think it was always in me, and add to it my personality, my sense of things, my desires. I found social work rather than psychology because I had this desire to get out there and do something already,
Mm-hmm.
shorter education route.
Mm-hmm.
And I also just felt it was more holistic, seeing a person
Mm.
in their environment. So
Yeah.
many aspects, our family, our place in our family dynamics, our personalities, our temperament. There was so much more to the picture. And I was always about where are you and where you're going? How can we serve that need? What's under it? Relationships. It was always just who I am, naturally that way.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and I always wanted to be a mommy. So that's
Mm.
actually what trumped everything. Once I became a mommy, um, I
Tell
shifted
me
focus.
quickly about your kids.
So I've got three children.
Okay.
Um, Super proud of each of them. Married them. They each got married within 3 years, starting with a COVID wedding.
Oh, wow.
Two sons and a daughter.
Yeah.
And actually, super exciting. They're all, I say, the same recipe. It comes out different every time. And as a conscious parent, before I even knew the expression, I
Right.
really raised them each for who they were, wanting to allow them to become who they're meant to be.
Mm. That's so gorgeous. What a gift.
I,
That's the best gift you can give the world.
yeah. And there are moments, I'll tell you, in my parenting where I really needed to listen to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, what comes to mind with my oldest, Max, who was always very, very also of service, involved. He's a creative.
Mm-hmm.
He's a graphic designer by profession. He does strategic planning and strategy and corporate. He's really a mover and shaker and really, well, he also has attentional issues. And in high school, let's just say, his long school day didn't work very well for him. But he put himself to use doing other things.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. My kid's going through that too. Yeah.
Ah, so he would find other things. He would take pictures. He did Photoshop before it was a thing, like in elementary school 20 years ago. Like um, he ran events. He was student government. He stood out until he became, standing out that everyone looked up for him,
Mm-hmm.
looked up toward him because
Mm-hmm.
of his skills. And I remember being at parent teacher conferences, needing to tell them, listen, he's not in class, he's doing that good stuff. Like he needs that. The only way he's going to make it through his day is to do that. To really stand
Right.
by, my children, each one of them.
Yeah.
My middle son, he was a volunteer firefighter as a high schooler.
Wow.
Not very common, certainly not common amongst the crowd he went to school with and he was growing up with.
Yeah.
He also played drums. I was told what mother lets their child play drums
Oh
in
my God,
front
a
of me.
cool mom.
That, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had aquatic frogs. I mean, we really it was adventure. It's how I wanted it to
Adventure.
be.
Yeah, I think that's a great perspective is like, this is an adventure and I'm going to support them and explore with them and
Yeah,
and support them and
yeah,
explore with them and support them and explore with them. Let's
yeah,
just keep saying that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I have a third. My son and his husband live in Manhattan,
Mm-hmm.
expecting their first child via surrogacy.
Ex
Super exciting.
Oh my gosh.
My second son lives in Israel with his wife and our grandson, which Bubbyhood has been my biggest gift. And thank God for
Yeah.
technology where we get to video chat. it's been a tremendous gift to be able to do that. And thank God they're safe and doing what they do to have more meaning and purpose. And my daughter lives not far from us, also married, a year out in nursing school. Each of them with their it's a wonderful feeling to know that I've raised them in a way that they have found their matches, really, with good values, different lifestyles, yet a lot overlapping. Really, a lot of joy to have helped them to become their best versions and continue to be true to themselves, actually, to live an authentic life.
Mm.
There's nothing more important than that, to be in
Mm-hmm.
alignment and to be true to yourself.
Mm-hmm. And so I'm just imagining that the clients that you're working with now, these private clients, are getting such an all-encompassing experience of someone who's supported very different people, but that have all come out living these authentic lives with their soulmates. And so you really have this foundation of I've grown these people and I can support my clients in this way through this foundation of this experience. And all, of course, all of your amazing credentials as well. So it's all of it. And so, what do you find to be the most kind of exciting work that you're doing with your clients right now? Like, what is just lighting you up about the way you work with them or who you're working
Mm.
with?
Such a great question. So I think what's really lighting me up is just this expansiveness I personally have felt in these last few years with getting more into body work, I mean, I did
Mm,
Reiki training many, many years ago. Um, so it's in me, let's say, and I've always been
yeah,
dabbling into homeopathy and
love it.
energy work. All that was always there, but the last few years I got into the somatic work and through a trauma-informed lens.
Mm-hmm.
And breath work obviously it's all part of it. And so to get deeper into myself, to clear out, to become aware of, to transmute stuff that was in me that I felt was in my way of living bigger,
Mm-hmm.
to really take myself out of um, where I am now in order to just be more expansive and impact more people's lives. And so that work lights me up, and infusing it into all the other stuff of who I am and what I brought and what I acquired, and then the knowledge, but the feeling through. It's not what we know, it's what we feel. And so
Mm,
I've always been a person who has felt through, I feel into things. And now what I've how I've personally expanded and now seeing how 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 the tools I've acquired in this new level in depth with the wisdom of the years, let's say, and experience, which is really so expansive as I reflect on this milestone into my 60s.
mm-hmm.
It's such a powerful, it's like a whole, it brings healing deeper in and exponential without having to, let's just say, talk about it and analyze things to death. It's in
Right.
the wisdom in the body and the
Yeah.
tools that we could use and strategies, connecting all of it, the changes, the healing, the embodied change people are feeling is dramatic. Feeling different, not just knowing different, but actually feeling different and living different. I'm super excited about.
Oh my gosh. Well,
So it's
you're
the results.
speaking my language here. This is what it's all about. I'm so curious do you remember your first experience, your first attunement with Reiki, just to throw it back to that? Do you remember
Mm.
anything about that?
So I remember my mind being a bit challenged with making sense of things.
Yeah.
At the same time, it was full day training, so I was immersed in it.
Yeah.
And I remember wanting to bring it home to my son, who was then about 2. And
Right.
so what kind of came to me was this song that he was raised on, with the power to put his hands where, if he fell and he had a boo-boo or he hurt himself or his stomach was hurting, we would sing this song about Reiki energy. And to this day, they all sing it.
Oh my
Reiki
goodness.
energy, Reiki energy, Reiki energy makes me feel better now. It was, and they would walk
Oh,
around singing it.
that's
So yeah,
precious.
empowerment, real empowerment and recognizing what now has come full circle, that the medicine, our medicine is right inside of us, and we really know, as we can kind of allow the veils, to move away, to be brave, the courage, the safety with others, to maybe to allow ourselves to just open up and get back to our essence.
Yeah. Okay, that's gorgeous. I love that. That's gonna sit and live with me forever. That is so beautiful. Thank you for that. Okay, now I want to ask you because I, of course, love breath work and you mentioned breath work. Can you tell me a powerful experience that you've had with breath work and what made you then decide to integrate it into what you do?
Mm, so many powerful moments with breath work.
Okay.
So, what comes to mind quickly is one experience I had while sitting in this chair and being guided on Zoom.
Yeah.
The, it was a longer session of over a half hour
Hmm.
of getting deeper and really allowing myself to go with it. The music was selected so beautifully, so it was more drumming and more earthing and more deeper, and more powerful. I recall just getting up from my chair and allowing myself to move around my office and really organically, dynamically move and dance and make sounds that I may not have been so comfortable making before, even alone.
You got
And
primal. Good. Yeah, I
yeah,
love
it
it.
was real primal music. Yeah. And just moving that way and allowing myself to go with it, just really feeling going to a new dimension in myself and yet outer, right? That whole connection. Um, that's one that really does come to mind, and just feeling more layers of just opening up or vision of the cosmos and really being out there and connected. Breaking, literally an egg breaking through with the light coming through was one visualization I once had.
Wow.
Yeah, powerful, powerful stuff. That's way I explain it to people is it's the experience. Like that's what the somatic coaching is. It's experiential coaching. It's
Yeah,
not,
walk me through, Jody. Walk me through, say I was going to work with you. What are some of the things I can expect, or what would we maybe experience or do or talk about?
mm. So I love that. So for everybody, it's individual. It's where they're at. And as you had kind of shared in my bio, I'm identifying as a breakthrough coach because what I'm finding is many people say that they're connecting dots and they're get breaking through some things that they didn't realize before.
Mm.
So, in other words, in our quiet together, in our time together like this, occurs on Zoom, we talk, we connect, we see what just organically comes up. We bring some breath in often to be able to settle and acknowledge our nervous system and our presence. We might breathe into a guided pattern, we may not. It really depends how somebody comes in.
Yeah, you're so
But
intuitive.
yeah. So we really see where it then takes us. And whatever comes up, we kind of just go with that. So I ask simple questions. I acknowledge, I'm paying attention to their energy, to their facial expression, to their body, to their movement, to their breath. It kind of unfolds as time goes. And for many, they don't necessarily feel like anything significant is happening until they notice, like, wow, so much came up for me. Or,
Mm.
wow, that was so good.
Yeah, like you're
That's
just
kind of the
making it
feedback.
safe, really slowly making it safe, because you're such a safe, warm presence, and you have such an intuitive gift to really, even in this conversation, I can feel it, like you're just tapping into all the things that I care about. And so there's that empathy there and that love there and that mama energy there, but then you have all of the kind of science and psychology training as well, so it's like the whole package. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. And you know what? I love that you said that because it reminds me how bringing in neuroscience, many people appreciate understanding. I like to say we have a nervous system. We're not our nervous system. We have
Mm.
thoughts, right? We have thoughts. We're not our thoughts. We have a body. We're not our body. We have feelings. We're not our feelings, right? We have emotions. We're not our emotions. What do we also know, which I know you know and love? emotions are energy in motion. So
Mm.
sometimes we need to move. Sometimes we need to sound. Sometimes we need to be in quiet. It's so what bring and then lifestyle stuff.
Mm.
Been lifestyle coaching for over 12 years, mindset work, mindfulness, um, habit building. I like to say we have habits of thinking, we have habits of being, in addition to our beliefs. And so there's so many tools and techniques and strategies once we're in a place of recognizing something new or accepting something new about ourselves. I feel like I can pull from so many different resources along with life experience. I'm also married 30 years, hit that milestone last month or in August as well. Let's just
Congratulations.
say, marriage, thank you. Marriage isn't all this beautiful skip into the rainbow experience.
Yeah, it's
There's been
work.
a lot of work, a lot of life experience and illness and stress and finances, like
Mm.
really in all areas. And
Yeah.
so another source I pull from, I had a very ill mom for many years, caregiving,
Yeah.
boundaries,
Mm.
challenging parts of relationships, right? The duality of love and perhaps fierce love and styles that we all have different in the way we communicate, let's say. Just
Yeah.
so much life experience and
Are
people
you are you
to draw
mostly
from.
work are you mostly drawn to attracting female clients? Are they in a specific age range that you find you just like enjoy working with that you're drawn to?
So I love that question too. And I'll tell you, I feel like I'm evolving.
Yeah.
I've worked with teens and 20 somethings. I'm
Okay.
actually having a lot of fun with the 20 somethings these
Oh,
days.
nice.
I think I have a lot of connection with the 40s and 50s as well. And one of my clients this morning, she's in her mid 70s,
Right.
and
So it's
we've
the
had a
whole gamut.
relationship for years. More women than men, I would say.
Hmm.
And at the same time, I really enjoy the men too, because
Yeah.
those who are looking to really grow themselves and make change, those who feel like they know it all, but they're stuck.
Mm,
I,
that's
I
good.
actually really enjoy that too because I'm like ready for them. I've got them too. And for those that really have those walls up, whether it's up here or such protection from their essence, their vulnerability, their self connection, because they live so much here, I enjoy that too. So we'll see. Anyone that's drawn to me, we can have a conversation and see if it's a match because that's what this
Yeah.
work is too.
I'm curious about your mentors, who's just like deeply transformed your life by working with them or reading their books or listening to them or going to their retreats. Like, who are maybe like one or two people that you just feel have really inspired you and infused into your work?
Mm. So I think I need to give credit to and really think about Dr. Wayne Scott Anderson, who I
Okay.
met about 13 years ago when my husband and I were in a place that physical health, mental health, financial health, we were not in a great place.
Okay.
And he founded a program that was life changing for us, that included community, that included lifestyle and habit work, that included a coach by our side, that just was part of this comprehensive program where not only did we transform ourselves physically and therefore medical health, physical health, but it opened me up from a place that I was with a lot of heaviness
Wow.
because of a lot that we were handling to a place of health and hope. So that
Mm,
was a big turning point about, let's say, 13 years ago. And
amazing.
lots of books. That one, that would probably be another podcast. But the other two would probably be Samantha Skelly at Pause. That was a gift that kind of just came into my newsfeed. That's how I found Pause Breathwork, somatic coaching. That's about almost 3 years ago now. And that was
Yeah.
also such a life change. And now, most recent, where we met with Kathy
Yeah.
Heller,
Kathy.
really bringing that spiritual piece into all the others, which was always there for me. It's kind of all now creating such a comprehensive whole at this time, right? Everything is about timing and what we're ready for. But those, I would say those three right now are probably my biggest impact.
Amazing. So, expanding our capacity to feel good. What do you think, and well, what do you know, I should say, has expanded your capacity to feel good?
Hmm. No, I would have to say, I think one of those starting points was feeling better physically, like
Okay.
changing up some of the things that I was eating, adding more water in, getting more active, really cleaning it up. That I actually on the inside had more energy. I didn't even realize how sick and tired of feeling sick and tired I was. I didn't realize how
Mm,
low my energy was. So I'm always an energetic person. But when I think back, I remember kind of getting to that point of asking my kids to get things down, out, bring things up from the basement
mm-hmm.
instead of me just doing that. And I jump up and down the stairs. Even today, I run up and down the stairs. Um, but that was a big thing, really cleaning up. Because physio, what I've come to know is that if you eat like shit, you feel like shit.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, it doesn't matter how positive you're thinking. I'm naturally a positive optimist, happier. Like
You're gritty.
I'm not, I'm, I'm gritty, but I'm just naturally that, you know? And,
Yeah.
but if when you don't feel well, you really can't show up at your best and you can't have that pep in your step. So that to me is a big one. You know, what more than that? It's really about spending more and more time to know oneself, to stop, to breathe, to be present, to recognize all the goodness that's around, and to allow that to be the foundation of the day, of how we see things, that, yeah, to permission ourselves to feel good.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I just find it so exciting, but also challenging the way that technology is infused in our lives. And when you grew up, this wasn't a challenge. And now here it is. This is how we operate. And you're an entrepreneur. And so, how do you work with technology, phones, and computer screens, and notifications and all of these distractions?
Yeah.
How are you working with that? And also with your clients, maybe does that ever come up? All the distractions, like what is sort of, what are you finding as the solution to this?
Mm, I love that question. Um, what I've come to learn is we can only control what's inside our hula hoop, I like to say, right? We can't control what's going on in the outside world. We get to control when we stop and breathe and center so we're not in fight or flight and not
Mm,
rushing and not a slave to our system and not pinging everything. We
yeah.
get to think and have some clarity. So I will tell you, the only notifications I have are on WhatsApp for my children.
Got
Otherwise, I
it.
don't have I don't and maybe on my calendar, right? It's just a gentle ding, so I remember what appointments I have. I turned off notifications. I refuse to be a slave to that. I can control that. I can control how much I listen to the news.
Mm,
I talk about this with people all the time. And as I said earlier, I have children in Israel. There's a lot going on in the world, in that part of the world, in our country. There's a lot going on in our world today
yeah.
and a lot coming at us when we allow it to. So
Yeah.
I really limit it. I'd rather find out once or twice a day, maybe in my curated Instagram feed. I only allow in those things that I want to pay attention to. And I have a beautiful, clean feed. You know, I on Facebook, same thing. Um,
I love that
News, I
because
limit it.
yeah, I feel like there's so many people that just allow the the environment to determine their vibration.
Yes,
And that's easily done, even with people like us who know how to have a conscious life. And so it's like,
yes,
how can we keep being at the cause of our vibration?
yes. And so I will say, not far from perfect. This is a process.
Yeah.
It's really a process to limit that, to build the muscle of stopping And I'll tell you, recently I noticed I'm numbing at night and I haven't been sleeping great. I just kind of got
Yeah,
off track.
I
And
do that.
so, right?
Yep,
So
yep,
we're human. I don't have it down pat, but there's
sure.
certain things that I do. I try not to. Well, maybe 5 out of 7 days. I don't look at my phone when I'm getting out of bed. I'm not looking at it till I'm at my breakfast table.
Yeah,
What do I do
great.
at my breakfast table? I sit and I meditate. I write down gratitudes. I read affirmations. I set myself up for my day
Yeah,
before I allow my day to come at me, most
yeah,
of the time. Not
yeah,
perfect. If I'm
yeah,
looking for something, I might quickly check my email, but I'm really good at scanning and not opening it. Just let
yeah,
me see, did I get what I'm looking for? Put it away for now. Let
yeah,
me look at my calendar for the day. Let me decide what I'm having for dinner. It's kind of an anchor in my healthy way. Like, so when the day gets crazy and I get over hungry, I'll know what we have. Let me check the fridge. That's kind of like basics, drinking the water. But I really limit that. I do my best to really limit that. At the same time, it's a way to keep in touch with people. It's a way to see what's going on in the world. I don't poo-poo it. I do try to limit it. We do
yeah.
also have one day a week. We observe the Jewish Sabbath, and so
Hmm.
one day a week we put it all away. No electronics, no telephones. It's
And that
family
starts
time.
at Friday night?
Starts Friday evening at
Yeah.
sundown, and
Hmm.
it goes till Saturday night after sundown. So
Yeah.
as the seasons change, the timing is different. From longer Fridays to shorter Fridays to short Saturday night, if you will, after that to a longer Saturday night. So it's another lesson in, kind of embracing the flow and also having the time to just stop, be with family, friends, myself. I so cherish that time to be in my head, to decide what I'd like to read or not read, to rest or walk, to be
It's
with
such a
friends or
beautiful
not.
tradition. Yeah, I love it. So
Helps a lot.
walking, being outside, is this one of your main medicines?
Oh, yeah, that's a big one. And nature. Love seeing the sunrise, love watching a sunset. I call myself a rainbow catcher, a chaser, I mean, a rainbow chaser. I have another friend who loves that. We don't see them very often, but when we do, it's like, call one another. Oh, go look, 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 there's a
Oh, I
rainbow.
love it. I love it.
No, when I walk,
Yeah.
sometimes I listen to something like an audiobook, and other times I'm really just with my thoughts and
Yeah.
paying attention. Today I saw these beautiful birds. I tried to capture it on video, but two birds, flying in unison together, and then one went away and the other was like flapping to catch up. Just the beauty of nature. I like to reset. I'm solar powered, so I really love to get that sunshine to repower up.
Yes, it's so important. I was just listening about that. So, authenticity and cultivating that authenticity, how do you help clients who feel like there's just this layer of needing to kind of control how they're perceived? Because I think on some level, if we're really honest with ourselves, most people have some veil of, because it's survival to feel that we need to belong. There's some veil of feeling that we need to be perceived in a certain way or trying to control how we're perceived, what we're saying, what we're sharing, what we're writing, how we're being. So, do you have any words of wisdom for people listening that are wanting to cultivate a more authentic self, and like how can they start to do that more?
Mm, I love that question. That's one of the things people comment about me is that they feel my authenticity.
Yeah.
And so, which I kind of know that, like I'm connected to me
Mm-hmm.
and I own me. And this is part of really Dr. A, as we refer to him, his teaching. It's becoming um, the dominant force in your own life. That was a tagline. So it's about getting to know yourself, be with yourself more so you know where you are and you own you.
Mm.
So, in other words, like, so how do we do that? It's
Yeah.
about being able to sit with that expectation and the feeling that comes with it, right? Like you said, if I'm working with someone, oftentimes when a person is inauthentic, they're or feeling like they're not in alignment with themselves, they might not have that language yet or even be aware of what that is, but
Yeah.
they're often struggling. They're often pained. whether it's physical or emotional or mental, that they're going in circles or ruminating, right? And so bringing them to this present moment where they could acknowledge that while also acknowledging potentially what it is that they prefer happening or being or showing up or what they really want. And we spend a moment in, can we allow this one to be alive, right? That expectation. Can we allow what you'd really like to be or what feels right to you? And so, again, it's different with everybody. This morning's client, we felt more about, she talked about needing to show up for others and being recognizing, over identifying in her 70s as a people pleaser.
Yeah.
And what we brought it to was the peace she felt when she just admitted, I kind of, don't want to be with him tonight. And when I
Hmm.
kind of said, well, what if, but I don't want to hurt him.
Yeah.
But who are you hurting? And what does that feel like? How does it feel when you show up? And then when we kind of allowed her, with her eyes closed and her allowing herself to block out distractions, she was able to recognize that she really is okay to be by herself, for herself, in herself. It's not scary like when she was a kid, scared of the dark. She now
Right.
was actually appreciating being inward. And it's not about hurting his feelings or choosing him. What if you just let him know you're not up to it? You need a little quiet. You're just not up to it tonight, right? Something that,
Yeah. Oh
and
my
there was,
gosh.
yeah, just a calm, beautiful peace in her. I was able to tell, like, it just never came into our mind that that could be the reason. In other words, the excuses, the trying to have him see why she's not, whatever. Like the
Hmm.
focus was over there, and this work allows us to focus here. So I think my advice for people that want to live more in their authenticity, it is about stopping. It's about giving yourself a little time and space and permission to check in with yourself in the quiet through a meditative walk, through dance, through grounding, through quiet, just silence, through spacing out or walk in the woods, whatever it is, but to allow yourself to let go of the distractions so you can actually just, what is it I really want? When we change our questions from what's right, what do they expect, what should I do?
Yeah.
Should is a toxic word. Don't should all over yourself,
Hmm.
right? Change it to what could I do or what is it that I'd like or I want, puts the focus back into, ourselves.
I think that conditioning runs so deep, and the older you are, the more that conditioning has been there for so long. It really is this like unraveling and practicing of making it safe to take that time to pause. And for anyone, making it safe to take the time to be with yourself, to sit with yourself, to do the things you just mentioned. And because I notice the conditioning still in me, even though I have the knowledge, like you talk about, it's like there's one thing to like know it, to think about it, to understand the knowledge of something and to realize it, but then to like really implement it all the way down into the body is a different experience. So I notice I still, even with this work that you and I do, it's like I still notice like justifying things to my husband, like because I feel guilty saying no to something. And then I'll try and like convince him, but he's like, I'm good. Like, do you? And I'm still trying to convince him because I'm still trying to convince myself that it's
Mm,
okay to say, I don't want to go to the movies tonight because I have my period. I want to stay home and I want you to go out and get food and bring it in, and we're going to watch movies in bed because we have a night off. And there was a moment of like still trying to justify, and he was already like out the door, like, I'll go get the food. And I'm like, oh, but because let me tell you why, and this is this. And it's like he's not interested. Just say what you need and be okay with it. And really it is that inner work of, right? Like, can I be okay with saying what I need and not having to justify it? Because I think that is really a process and a practice.
yeah, 100%. And I like to see it as a muscle. And so, that the more we get to become aware, like now you noticed you gave us such a beautiful example of, even though you kind of asked, like it took a little time to get it out and ask, and it came with justification and wanting to convince. What if in the future, right, you allow yourself to stop saying, you know what, I'm going to no longer justify to anyone other than acknowledge to myself, like it's okay for me to express my truth and live in my truth, and
Yeah.
it's all welcome here, right?
Yeah.
And that might need that deep breath or two. When I say take the time, a lot of people think they need a lot of time. So what
Right.
I'd like to challenge people in doing is take the moments for 3 to 5 full breaths, not one or two. A lot of people will stop at one or two and say, I tried to breathe and it didn't work. And I'm like, yeah, you love that, right?
Yeah.
So what does that mean to me? I've come to learn that means they kind of went, all right, and they kept going. I mean, that
Yeah.
doesn't do anything, but
Yeah.
literally make the decision that you're going to breathe until you feel your nervous system calm and you feel yourself reconnect to your center.
Yeah.
And that means something different for everybody. So play with it and learn what that is. But it might be 3 to 5. It might be that slow breath in and that extended breath out, and a deeper breath in and extended breath out, in through your nose, out through the mouth, or maybe not. But that's a good one to help bring down the nervous system so quickly. And then you get to re ask the question to yourself and maybe finding new words. Because I find sometimes when people get asked, what do you want? Or, all right, he says, what do you want to do tonight? I don't know what I want.
Mm.
I don't know is not truth.
Yeah.
We're just not connected to what we're feeling, what we really are inclined to. And maybe because there's so much chatter going on. So when
Mm-hmm.
we take that moment to kind of center, and take a check on ourselves, right? What is my feeling? What's my energy? Where am I at right now? What is it I would like?
I
Then
said,
we go ahead.
yeah, yeah. I said, here's another observation we can just look at is like I said to my husband, I think it was last night at dinner, I really spend so much of my bandwidth, my energy, thinking about the past, what I could have done better,
Mm,
thinking about the future, how can I prepare, right? And this is what we all do. Some people more than others focus a
yes,
little bit more on the past. Some people focus a little bit more on the future. The future thinking is like the anxiety, the past thinking is like the regret and the guilt and all of that, ruminating, right? So it's like, oh my gosh, we all know that the happiness, the joy is here behind our eyes in this moment, in the center of our head, dropping in, feeling ourselves, being here present. We know it, we get it, we all get it. But it's that implementation of knowing it, right? And so it's like,
yes,
wow, I really still spend so much time in the past or the future. Damn, that's a lot of bandwidth. I don't want to
yes,
do that.
yes. And I love that you said that. So what's striking me about what you're saying is that first step of awakening or awareness. So recognizing it, can you permission yourself to just like feel okay, because this is what we do as humans. It's
Yeah.
natural, right? It's our ego's way of protecting us. It's our nervous system's way of protecting us. I'm finding that protection no longer works for me, right? I need
Mm.
to like an energetic and whole being upgrade, because I know that, like you said, the gift is in the present, right?
Mhm.
Presence is a present we give ourselves. And
Yeah.
so I will say, when I look back on my life and all the milestones, when my kid from growing up into marriage, into raising the kids, I was often present. Not that I didn't spend time doing the other stuff. That's usually in my growth areas, right? When I wanted, but I could be present and soak it all up, so much so to a disregard for other things. I don't know, that could be a gift or a challenge, right?
Hmm.
But when I now know that presence is where we have our power, right? And some of us, like you said, are more used to going forward or back. Our nervous system is used to that cortisol hit, as we know, and that
Yeah.
zzz. And so we're not going to become, Zen, if you will, that expression of presence
Hmm.
all the time, but we get to catch it. we get to come present and we get to change our questions so we facilitate in ourselves different answers, different behaviors, right?
I
And
love
I think
that. We get to
that's the
change,
key
yeah,
too.
change the
We
questions. You've said that a
change the
couple of times. I love it.
questions, yeah,
Yeah.
and change the result. What should I do? Could easily get
Mm,
changed to what could I
could I
do?
do?
Feel the vibe, right? Should I do is
Mm-hmm.
like shaking that finger. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. It doesn't help me to do things with joy and enthusiasm. I don't know about you.
Totally. Yeah.
But when you say, what could I? I could, whatever. Well, all of a sudden I feel desire, like, oh yeah, I could, couldn't I? You know what? I think I'm going to. It's just
Mm.
gentler, or I get to. That
Yep.
little word shift sends such a different message, has such a different vibe, and allows us to start to develop that muscle of catching the shoulds, or I wish I had, or, shoulda, woulda, coulda, catch them, or can't. Ooh, another toxic one. Catch them, breathe it, and say, wait a minute, those words no longer work for me. It's not that I can't or I shouldn't, right? It's I can. How can I? What
Mm.
could I do? And I
Mm.
find those things with a lot of practice, like you said, are really big game changers.
That's
Changes the whole
great.
narrative and vibe, head to toe vibe.
Yeah, just that little reorientation of that
Yeah.
mindset shift. Well, this is amazing, Jody. I know there's a lot more we could go over, and I think that this is a perfect just like first kind of initial dip into your world for us to just get a sense of your energy, which is so wonderful, and I love it so much, and this is why we connected so greatly and deeply. So I just want to ask you, where do you want people to find you? It's on Facebook, right? Or Instagram, either one, yes?
Yes. Yes. So,
Okay.
so currently Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
My website, jodikahncoaching.com, is currently under construction, but should be live within the next few weeks. So that's
Perfect.
another place where you could email or set up an appointment for like a 15-minute discovery call where we
Oh,
could
great.
have a little Zoom to get to know one another. You could
Hmm.
also DM me, PM me on any of those, but either on Instagram or Facebook. I've got a podcast that I'm working on that should be launching by January, February. So stay tuned for
Yay!
that. Super excited about that too. Part of the light me up, right? What lights me up? I'm super excited about the website coming out. I'm super excited about the podcasting, and I'm super excited to see really where it all leads. As
Okay,
I
what are
said
you
in the
going to talk
beginning,
about on
yeah.
your podcast? What are you going to talk about on your podcast? Or who are you going to
Mm.
interview? Do you know any of these things yet? Can you share?
So, yeah, so we hit on so many of them here.
Okay.
I'm leaning toward really just living a lighter life, how awakening and awareness and vibrancy. It's about bringing all of this together, but speaking to those, right? Some of it will be me, some of it will be interview with those who are just more conscious, incredible beings, women probably to start, who
Love
have
it.
just broken through, right, in their own life and are creating just more bigger and fulfilling lives. Self acceptance, vibrancy,
Yeah,
yeah, health,
gorgeous. I
healing,
can't
support.
wait.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so when that comes out, we'll put that in we'll link that in the show notes too. And thank you so much, you guys. Continue to expand your capacity to feel good as slowly as you need to. Just soak in all of this episode, let it inform you, and reach out to me or to Jody or both of us. Share with us what resonated with you. Any reflections, anything that you're like, yes, me too, or I have a question about this, and how would she, you know, it's all good. We want to hear from you. We want to hear how this resonated for you. And I can't wait to see you guys next time. Thank you so much, Jody. You're amazing. I love you so much. And thank you so much for giving us your time and your energy and your heart and your vulnerability.
oh,
Thank you.
thank you, Siri, for inviting me on. It was so great to be here with you.
You're welcome. Okay, bye, guys. Bye.